This video explains how to change the color of ranges in a ggplot2 heat map in the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. In this video I will show you several examples, and all of these examples are based on the data frame that we can create with the lines 2 to 4 of the code. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data frame object is appearing, which is called data. And if you click on this data frame, a new window is opened, which is showing the structure of our data frame. And as you can see, our data frame contains many rows and 3 columns, which are called X, Y, and values. And the columns X and Y are our group indicators, and the column values contains random numeric values. Now let's assume that we want to draw these data in a ggplot2 heat map. Then we also need to install and load the ggplot2 package, as you can see in lines 6 and 7 of the code. I have installed the package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it with line 7 of the code. So after running this line of code, we are able to use the functions of the ggplot2 package, such as ggplot and geomtile. So if you run lines 9 and 10 of the code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a new ggplot2 heat map has been created. However, you can also see that the colors of this heat map correspond to the default specifications of the ggplot2 package. So let's assume that we want to change the colors in this heat map. Then we can apply the code that you can see in lines 12 to 16. So in lines 12 and 13, I'm using exactly the same code as before. However, then I'm adding to this the scale fill gradient function. And within this function, I'm specifying the lower limit of our color range, the higher limit of our color range, and the guide argument. So if you run lines 12 to 16 of the code, you can see at the bottom right that our plot is updated. And this time our plot is shown with a range between yellow and black. So in this second example, I have explained how to change a continuous color range in a heat map. However, it's also possible to assign defined categories to each color range. And this is what I want to show you in the next example of this tutorial, starting in line 18 of the code. And for this example, we need to modify our data set. So first of all, I'm creating a new version of our data set, which is stored in a new data object that we are calling data new. So if you run line 18 of the code, a new data frame is appearing at the top right of RStudio, which is called data new. And at this point, this data set contains exactly the same values as our input data frame. And then in the next step, in lines 19 and 20 of the code, I'm creating a new column, which is called groups. And to this column, I'm specifying certain ranges of our values column in our input data set. And within the cut function that I'm using to create these ranges, I'm specifying the breaks argument to set certain breaks where our ranges should be cut. So if you run lines 19 and 20 of the code, our new data frame is updated, as you can see by clicking on this new data frame at the top right. And then you can see in this new window that we have added a new column to our data frame, which is called groups. And this grouping indicator contains certain values for each range. So for instance, this first row is in the range between 4 and 6, and the fourth row is in the range between 8 and 10. And then in the next step, in lines 22 to 25 of the code, I'm again using the same syntax as in the beginning of this tutorial. However, this time I'm using our new data frame. And then to this, I'm adding the scale fill manual function. And within this function, I'm specifying a new color for each range of our grouping column that we have just created. So if you run lines 22 to 25 of the code, you can see that our plot is updated once again. And now you can see that the colors in this heat map are not corresponding to a continuous color range, but they correspond to the 5 groups that we have created manually before. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video so you can find it there. If you have liked this video or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.